Graeae presents Crips Without Constraints, a play, a podcast, a picture.
Hello, it's me again, Jack Thorne, writer and proud patron of Graeae. And it's week 2 of Crips Without Constraints, which is When We Got Sick. I always keep saying it, call it When We Get Sick. When We Got Sick by Jamie Hale. Jamie is a poet, and a glorious poet, and I mean that he is literally a poet, but he is also a poet in how he sees the world, and this is a beautiful, I think, piece about how we look at death and how we look after each other, and I really hope people enjoy it. Jamie's a very special writer and a very special human being. When We Got Sick is read by the great Simon Startin. Simon is a middle-aged white man with short brown hair. He has glasses and is wearing a brown fleece. He sits in natural light with bookshelves behind him.
They're saying there's another epidemic. The newspapers count the death toll, broadcast the total live, a macabre ranking of countries, and on a league table nobody wants to win. I am 30 years ago, where the papers didn't even bother to mention the dead, even as we beat at their doors and begged. It is now 30 years ago, and I am 20 years old. I'm in bed with my second boyfriend. It's 1990. It's been 6 months since we met in the park. Dorky to the end. He tripped over the dog's leash and I bought him an apologetic coffee from the small hut. My wary parents are learning to like him, and I know how lucky I am. We're kissing, and I spot a bruise on his chest, a deep reddish purple. Roses reflected in the fractured bedroom mirror. Freeze the frame here, at this moment before our world cracked in two. Let me remember what it felt like to be in love before the era of epidemic. Let me look through the glazed glass of the past and tell you what it took to survive. When we got sick, we were blamed, reviled, the vectors of disease. Age was a death sentence, and we expected to die. It's strange to hear there's an epidemic that everyone cares about, to watch it making the front pages of the papers. Strange that people will build communities to survive this. We're told people will have to die. That's what they told us in the plague years when they didn't bother to look for a treatment. We refused to believe it then. When society rejected us, let me promise you, we spent our loving on each other. When the doctors wouldn't touch us, we touched each other. And the luxury of skin was better than any medication. Because there were no medications. He had Kaposi's sarcoma. Deep lesions erupted in his skin, blooming. Tried to zap them, but it didn't look much like anyone was going to survive this or save us. Then AZT, and I lived, at least. I buried him. Buried my friends. Watched the world become emptier. The funerals smaller by necessity. I made it through on a cocktail of pills, and now I'm 50, with society shutting down. Now we're gearing up for a different battle, one ventilator for every 8 patients, like a doctor would choose to save us. Now funerals are too dangerous. Now we're preparing for catastrophe again. But even so, the sun shines. I remember lazy days with dying friends, shut in a house. Him tall, beautiful, soft. His T-cells low, white count low, like a magnet to every passing infection, so we stayed in, as if that could save his life. I remember exhausted ventures into the garden, part blind, to be with the trees. The hours we spent stroking them, kissing them, watching them blossom. And now it's spring. It's spring and everyone's meant to be indoors. The blossom is blooming on the trees. Just for itself.
Performed by Simon Startin, directed by Nickie Miles-Wildin. #Crips without constraints. Twitter @Graeae. Graeae.org. Supported by Arts Council England, Esme Fairbairn Foundation and Jack Thorne.